Hello and a warm welcome to Personal Finance. I'm Gugulethu, Cele. Well, we all know the importance when it comes to saving for one's retirement, given the fact that only 6% of South Africans can actually afford to retire comfortably. But which products to invest in and what kind of risk should you be taking on, especially given the different stages of life that we all go through? Well, we'll find out today from Mark Lapedus, who's the Head of Product Development at Liberty Investments. Good to have you with us today, Mark. Now, this morning we had a briefing where you basically walked us through a new range of retirement features which is being offered to South Africans, the Agility range. Maybe if you can give us a brief overview as to what makes this product offering unique versus to what's on the market at the moment.
Great, thanks Gugu, and thanks for having me here today. So I think really if you think about saving for retirement, people who are saving for retirement are saving for an income that they're going to use to replace the salary that or the income that they're no longer going to have once they're retired. And most of the retirement products that are available today really don't give people any certainty around what income they're going to be able to have when they do get to retirement. And so what the Agile product does is it allows investors through the exact income fund to have certainty, to have a guarantee around what income they're going to have in retirement. And that's different to any other product that's available or any other retirement solution that's available today. And because of the fact that they've got that certainty and guarantee around a portion of their retirement income, first of all, it helps them sleep better at night knowing that no matter what happens to markets, they are protected. And it also allows them on the component that's not guaranteed to actually take on more risk to try and get a better outcome for themselves and to live a better life in retirement.
Someone watching at home will probably think, okay, guaranteed income, is this either a living annuity? And secondly, how does this income particularly, how is it guaranteed when the time value of money is never consistent?
While people are still saving towards their retirement, it's either in a retirement annuity or a preservation fund. When they do get to retirement, then the exact income fund component will convert into a life annuity, and what that really means is an income that's payable for life no matter what happens to markets. And the remaining portion can be used into a living annuity or a life annuity as decided by the investor at that point in time. In terms of how the guarantee actually works, that's really what differentiates this product from other products, and where Liberty comes in to actually make that guarantee that the amount payable, the amount that's guaranteed, will be made no matter what happens to markets, no matter what happens to currencies, no matter what happens between the time that they make that investment until the time that they retire. Now, obviously, it's always important to make sure that you've got enough money for retirement, and knowing that I have a certain amount of money today doesn't mean that getting that same amount of money 20 years from now is going to mean that I can live the same standard of living. And that's why it's important to continually review savings in general and retirement savings particularly.
Let's get into the guaranteed income first and that particular split, because it's the guaranteed income and then the alternative investments. What kind of investments are we talking here? Is this 100% exposure into equities, local equities, offshore equities, and how does it relate to the individual's risk profile?
So, as you said, the guaranteed income is the one component of the product, and then the other investment portfolios is the other component. And within the other investment portfolios, there's a range of in excess of 100 different investment portfolios that people can choose from. And those are portfolios from 15 different South African asset managers. And so the range of portfolios is from 100% cash through to 100% equity, local investments, offshore investments. There's really a very wide range that's available that people can choose between. Both actively managed funds as well as low-cost tracker funds that are available. Now, how much of these different portfolios should be used, and how do I choose between these 100 different portfolios, is really where the role of a financial advisor comes into play to say, in saving for retirement, each person's going to have their own circumstances, their own assets outside of their retirement savings, different risk profiles and risk tolerances, and that's where an advisor will guide you through to make sure that you choose the correct portfolios from these 100 portfolios that's suitable to your needs.
Give us an example there. Let's say, speak to my 30-year-old brother and my 60-year-old dad as to how best they need to review their retirement fund.
So, obviously, I don't know your brother and dad, but the younger you are, generally the more risk you can afford to take on, and so a 30-year-old may have more money into more aggressive or risky portfolios. So more money in equity, more money possibly exposed to offshore markets, and they would actually probably want less of the guaranteed income. Because a 30-year-old is so far away from retirement, they don't actually want to be guaranteeing their income in retirement now. they want to wait till they get a little bit closer to retirement before they start to guarantee it. Somebody who's 60 years old, retirement is approaching in a couple of years' time. I know far more realistically what overall assets I've got, what income I actually want in retirement. I actually want more conservative portfolios. I want to start securing my income, and I probably want a more sizable portion of my overall investments into the exact income fund, where I know what retirement income I'm going to get, no matter what happens between now and 5 or 10 years' time when I actually retire. So really the asset allocation, more equities, higher risk portfolios for younger people, more conservative for older people.
What about the flexibility that could be involved here? Because as you mentioned earlier, life happens. You grow up, you get married, you have kids, might get divorced, but basically your situation in life might change. Can that be explored here when it comes to how you do the split between other investments and exact income?
Absolutely, and so I think the name of the product, the Agile product, is there to denote that flexibility. And so, where I might need to contribute 1,000 Rand a month every month in order to get to my retirement goals, because of the fact that, as you say, life happens, I might lose my job, and for a 6-month period until I find a new job, I simply can't contribute. And the flexibility in the product allows me to adapt and change my contributions whenever I like, without any additional charges being levied as a result of that change. So if I do need to stop my contributions, reduce them, increase them as I go through time, I've got the full flexibility to do that without any adverse impact on my investment.
Stop, reduce, or even increase? How does that tie in with the terms and conditions and maybe the fee structure of this particular product?
So really the only thing that will happen is that the more that I put in, the more I'll have available for retirement, and the less that I put in, the less that I'll have available. In terms of actual fees, the fees are very low cost, simple and easy to understand, and they don't differ based on how much I contribute on a monthly basis, or if I've changed my contributions from what I originally set out to contribute. And so if we just look at those charges, it's possible to invest at just 0.5% per annum, so 0.5%, including the product administration fee and a portfolio fee. If I choose tracker portfolios, if I choose actively managed portfolios, the asset manager involved will charge a particular fee. Typically equity portfolios and international portfolios are more expensive, so 0.3% is the product or platform fee, and then the fund manager fee is based on which of those 100 portfolios I have chosen. On the exact income fund, where I guarantee a retirement income, each contribution that I make will guarantee me a certain retirement income, and that retirement income doesn't change because of any fees. So built into what's guaranteed is any charges that might be levied already.
What about the tax benefits? We know that government has really driven quite strongly to give those who save for their retirement some kickbacks when it comes to tax. Are there any applicable in this scenario?
Absolutely. So being a retirement annuity, you do get tax benefits, both on the contributions into the retirement annuity within certain limits, and then very importantly, the growth within the RA is tax-free, which means that 100% of the returns that I get go into my retirement annuity, and none of that is going towards tax. So that's obviously a huge benefit to people. If I'm saving for 30 years for my retirement, the benefit of that tax over 30 years is massive. It obviously increases my retirement outcome significantly.
Let's talk to the person who's watching at home who might want to consider this particular product. What kind of cost implications are they looking at when it comes to the monthly contributions? Are there minimum rates that apply here, in particular maximums, if at all?
Yeah. So the minimum monthly contribution into the Agile product is 1,000 Rand a month. There's no liberty charge that comes off that. Depending if you have a financial advisor, there may or may not be initial fees levied by the financial advisor. On an ongoing basis, as I mentioned, 0.3% is the administration platform fee, fund manager fees as agreed between, based on the portfolio that I choose, and then ongoing advice fees as agreed between myself and my financial advisor. So really, really cost competitive, low cost product, which again is very important to make sure that the maximum benefit goes towards saving for my retirement, and as little as possible is actually taken away in fees.
And that probably highlights the epidemic we face in South Africa, where a lot of people like to tap into their retirement savings and make withdrawals. I take it here again, it's a very strict outlook with regard to retirement savings, and you want to avoid anyone picking into that particular savings jar.
Absolutely. So if I do dig into my retirement savings before actual retirement age, all that I'm doing is I'm reducing the chances that I'm actually going to be one of the 6% of South Africans who is able to retire comfortably. So within the retirement annuity, one of the actual advantages of it is that before age 55, there is no way for me to access that money. And that may seem like a disadvantage, but actually, because I'm saving for retirement, it is actually an advantage, because it means that I can't be tempted to go and spend the money on something else, and it is going to be there accessible for me when I do get to retirement.
Exactly. So we know how much we can contribute, we know where to start, but when it comes to that conversation with the financial advisor, other than doing a risk assessment and potentially reviewing the split, is there a perfect one at all? We know that they always say, 15% of your income should go into your retirement savings. Does that need to get split even further? Your thoughts on that discussion with the financial advisor?
So I think, firstly, the most important thing is to start that discussion with the financial advisor as early as possible, because the 15% that you talk about of putting away to my retirement assumes that I'm doing it from early enough. If I leave that late, then obviously what happens is I need to save more in order to still get to the same retirement outcome. So the sooner I can start contributing, the sooner I have the benefit of compound interest to start earning returns to mean that I will be in that 6% that can retire comfortably. And no, I don't think there is any magic number to exactly how much it is, any magic number that says, this is the ideal investment portfolio for you. Every 30-year-old should be in this portfolio and every 45-year-old should be in that portfolio. We're all different, we're all unique, we all have different incomes, retirement aspirations, assets, risk profiles, and that means that there is no one size fits all, which is why it's so important to sit with somebody who can actually look at all of those individual circumstances to come up with the correct solution and approach for each individual person.
Exactly. Mark, thank you so much for your time today. Great understanding more about the Liberty Agility products that you've launched. That was Mark Lapedus, who's the head of product development at Liberty Investments. Now be sure to continue liaising with us here on Personal Finance. You can get in touch by using our Twitter handle at CNBC Africa, #finance410, and tell us how you fare when it comes to your retirement savings. But for myself and the team, it's goodbye for now.